Well, hello and welcome back to the plot again for another episode of my ongoing saga of trying to get myself in front on the allotment. The last video, I luckily filmed that before the weekend. We had quite a dumping of snow over here in West Yorkshire. And a little bit of rain, but I've got to say, looking at some of the reports on the TV and some of the YouTube channels as well, we've certainly got away with it. In terms of wind, there was zero wind. We just had quite a torrential downpour of rain, and on the Saturday morning we woke up to a blanket of snow. But you know, considering we certainly got away with it. I know Martin over at the Hanley plotter, his plot looked something like the North Sea. It was unbelievable the amount of water that were flowing through between his shed and onto his plot. So I feel for people like that, but at the end of the day, we've just got to manage and get on with it. Well, what I'm going to do today is I've just come down just to do half an hour before I go home after work, before it gets dark. But I'll quickly show you why I've definitely made the right decision. Take it back down onto the bottom plot. Luckily enough, Martin bobbed along and wedged the shed roof up on bricks, because he says it was absolutely just holding water at the top, and it were bowing in the middle, so we've wedged that up. But as you can see, when I came on the other day in the sun, this whole side down here right to the end there was full of water, right across this path, across here. And now that these beds are empty, I could see the true extent of the flooding on here. Right the way down to here was just full of water, and it was literally all the way from there all the way up to where that blue barrel is there. And we only need now just a few inches of rain again and it'll be back up again. So definitely made the right decision in moving off here. Puts me in a bit of a dilemma when somebody moves on. I think if I'm around when they're showing them, I think I'll have to be honest and say to them, look, you know, by all means it is a good plot when it's dry, and yeah, you're going to probably be walking onto a plot that you can get straight into, but you have to be aware of the flooding. I think I'll have to make them aware of that, and tell them that if they're doing anything sort of down this end here, wherever possible, if they can lift it out of the water, raise it up, then they're in with a fighting chance. But certainly through the winter now, this path, unless you've got a canoe, you ain't getting any access to this allotment. Yeah, so while that was going on, I stayed clear of that end as best I could, and I've started up at the top. So the next project really for me now is to get those log stores up and out of this area. So as you can see, I've laid down a liner. I got all the plants out that I could. I've rescued some. There's one just gone in the plot over there. It's one of those Christmas roses. That's gone in where the fruit trees are going to be. And I put a black liner down to make sure that nothing comes through. And I've put a line of flags, of pallets, which are going to act as the floor to the log store. And I've just stacked those up there ready to go. This side, I'm just on with that now. I'll take you across and show you. So as you can see, I've got the liner in there and I've laid the base in there. This one, I need to just take a little cut out so it drops in. So there we have it. That's the basin. As you can see, it's got a couple of gaps there, but I'll just get a couple of timbers and put them in between there. Now, obviously, what we've got to be careful of is rats and things like that. But at the other side of that planter, it's open, and I'm going to unblock this area here, take that out so that there's a clear run underneath, and I can bait it from there just to keep them under control. I don't want to be creating a 5-star hotel for them to live in. Me and Longtails, we're not best of mates. Right, I've had enough of that umping and fixing and digging, and that floor's there now. I can't really do much with the log store now until the weekend, and even then it's going to be tight because I'm working on Saturday. I'm going to rush and try and get the job finished and get back so I can get to the place where I get my posts and postcrete from, so I can start and get the frames up. But they don't open on a Sunday, so I've got to try and get back in time on Saturday to catch them before they close. But what I'm going to do today, to finish off this afternoon, is just get these overwintering Shensu onions in. I'll just put them there for now. What I like to do is just firm the ground where the onions are going to go. Just my body weight, which some people say is a lot. And basically, I do this because when you think about it, when an onion starts to grow, it's got very thin, hairy sort of roots, and then on top of the surface you've got this big, you know, onion plant itself, and then a really big sail, the leaves, and if they get that root rock, they can tend to blow. So what I do is I firm the ground down, and then when I put them in, I firm them in so that you can really get a good grip of the soil and hopefully avoid any root rot. Right, one more. There we go. Right, let's get them spaced out. Get the first row in. That'll give me a guide then that I follow. There we go. Decent root ball on that. As I say, a nice firming in. About a trowel's width apart, I do them. Oh, stay up. As I say, I don't rush to get these in. They always catch up. I know some people have had them in quite some time now, but no rush for me. Just as and when. I've got the garlic to go in as well. So they're going in. I've got the outdoor garlic done, but I've got some that are going in baskets. So I've got them to put out. I don't know if I'll do those today, but we'll see. Right, leave me to get these in, and I'll come back to you once this bed's planted. So there we go. That's 45 Shensu onions planted. And the more I think about it, whilst I'm planting those, the season doesn't really end, does it? It just rolls from one thing into another. Yeah, we're going to be a little bit quieter, but you know, next month I'll be sowing the seeds, my onion seeds, on Boxing Day. So there's always some form of horticultural activity carrying us through the year. Now I think I may just have enough compost to fill this gabion basket that I'm going to put the garlic in. Normally garlic goes straight outside. Last year I put it over there in a bed and all of them got rotted off. This year, because that side of the plot here is a little bit damper, it doesn't flood, but it's a little bit damper, and all that rain that we had during the winter last year and into spring just rotted them. So what I've done this year is I've moved the garlic into the centre bed there, just behind the wheelbarrow. So hopefully it'll be okay there if we don't get that dreaded rain again. And what I'm going to do, tip off Jimmy over at plot 41B, is I'm going to put some in this basket. And so I'm hoping I've got enough compost for this. Fingers crossed I have. Let's go see. Just then as I was coming down, I thought to myself, have I got enough compost? And then I thought, I've got this middle compost bay. I'm just going to bang it out, because you know what I'm like. And let's see what this looks like. If I can do it half and half, I should have enough. Tell you what, here, they're taking some hinges to go on here. Oh my word, that looks. Now then, let's have a look at this. Get me barrel up here. Oh yeah. This is decent stuff, is this. So what I'll do is I'll go a barrel of this, some compost, and hopefully that'll be enough. Wow. All I've done is put green waste in here, the browns and everything else. But what I've also done is also added a little bit of manure in between each layer, just to speed it up a little bit. And it's done that. So I think full barrel of this gear should just do the trick. Right, I'll see you back up at the top of the plot. That temperature's dropped, I'll tell you now. Right, so that's worked really well. A bit of compost and a bit of the homemade stuff. But all I need to do now is get some garlic. Right, so these are in trays of 6. These have done really well. Got a decent root system on them. So I'm just going to put, how many's here? 24 in each of these baskets. They don't need that much space. So let's have a gander. Makes a nice change to get onto doing a little bit of planting after moving and shifting everything. So I'm going to get this done, and then, as I say, I'm working on Saturday, so I'm hoping that on Sunday I might start and get some progress on the log stores, and that to me will feel as though I'm really making headway when I can actually start and move all those logs, because it is going to be some task. Right, leave me to get these done, and I'll show you everything when I've finished. So there we go. We have 47 garlic in there. One of them hasn't shooted yet, so that's in the right little bottom corner there. But I've put it in just to see what happens. So 47 garlic in there. I can do a nice 360 now on the things that I've achieved today. Getting that front bed dug out and covered, and the base put down. Then we've got the base for the second log store put down and liner underneath. Here's the plant that came out of the other side there, and it's one of those Christmas roses. I forget the proper horticultural name for it. It's a Christmas rose. I think if you look, it starts to come out about this time of year. There's a little flower just there. I did have to chop it back just to get it out, but I think that we might get a showing off that before we get to spring. And then of course the onions in. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 ranks of 5 there, all stood to attention. And as I say, the garlic. The sky's looking a little bit ominous. The temperature has really started to drop. Well, that brings us to the end of another midweek video. I am now going to get my clobber on and get myself off home. It really has dropped, and there's only me on site. But then again, that's quite often at this time of year the case. These can store down here. It's nice and cold and nice and fresh for them. Right, I'd just like to say thank you very much to everybody, and particularly all the new subscribers that have come on to the channel, and obviously all the old ones. It really is appreciated. Thank you for your positive comments as usual, and I really do my best to answer all of them, but I'm getting quite a lot now, which is a nice problem to have. So that's it until the weekend. Take care, keep warm, and have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye, and happy growing.